if you are new here, welcome. My name is Danielle, and if you are coming back, well, welcome back. All right, today I am so excited to share with you guys a really fun little free library video. My husband and I went away to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio for a few days, and on our way back up to Michigan, because I live in Michigan, we stopped at some little free libraries along the way, and this has become just a really fun thing to be able to do when we're traveling around. I don't know if my husband thinks it's as fun as I do. He said he enjoys it because he knows I enjoy it so much, so he has no problem taking me. I just use the little free library app, and there's a map on there that shows you where they are. So as we're traveling down the highway, I look and I see if things are a quick off and exit kind of thing, then we stop at them. Or if we're traveling through a little town, I look and see if there's any in there and just kind of go from there. So I have in this video 3 different stops in Ohio that I made, and then at the end of the video I have a little free library that I went to back in July, and yeah, so that one was closer to home, but I will go ahead and just add that in at the end to show you. But let me go ahead and get into this video, and I will kind of be telling you as I'm showing you the little video clips where these places are at, and then I'm going to be showing you what I might have picked up from these little free libraries. So let's get into it. So I decided to do a little bit of a book unhaul. So I took some things off of my shelf to be able to put in my bag to carry around for little free libraries. So Olive Kitteridge, really enjoyed that book, but I just don't feel like it's something I want to keep on my shelf. This Harlan Coben, Promise Me, I didn't realize it's like number 6 or 8 or something in a series when I just picked it up from a library book sale. So I know I'm not going to try reading the whole series, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass that on. Run, Rose, Run by Dolly Parton and James Patterson. Even though I have good memories from reading this because my husband and I actually were staying in Gatlinburg and went to Dollywood and stuff while I was reading that book, I didn't love it enough to want to keep it, so I'm going to go ahead and pass that on. In the Darkness, That's Where I'll Know You. My friend Tish sent me this book. It is so trippy. It is so good, but I don't think it's something that necessarily my mom or sisters would want to read. So, and I don't feel like it's something I need to keep on my shelf. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in little free library. And then All Her Little Secrets. This one I'm still questioning, though. I think my mom might really like this book, so I might hold on to that one and let her read it first before I move it to little free libraries, but that's okay. And then Funeral Food. I've had this for a while that I had picked up one time at a thrift store. I didn't realize, my husband mentioned to me something about, oh, I thought you don't like spice in books, and it says something about it being spicy. So then I decided I just wasn't going to read it, so I'm going to pass that on. And then Lisa Gardner, When You See Me. I actually really liked this book too. And same thing, my mom might like that. So I might take these 2 for now and see if my mom would like to read them, and just put the other ones in my bag to be able to take. But I'm going to be heading out to some little free libraries while we are in Ohio, and hopefully can drop some of these off and pick some new books up. And then, of course, I will be putting these in the covers of these, so super fun. So my sweet friend Heather, who I have down in the description box, her book that she wrote and her book journals that she made, she has them on Amazon. You can check them out there if you'd like. She made me this adorable little thing to put in my little free library books that I drop off places so that people can check out my channel. Super cool. And then they can put their name, location, date, and like the rating they gave the book. So when they put it back, the next people can kind of see. What a fun way to see kind of who has had it. Obviously, you don't have to put your last name if you don't want, or things like that, or like a specific location. But just to be able to see, like, where this book travels around to. So I thought that was so fun that she did that. She also made my little, if you look in my intro, that little burger, that's Glam Burger for my other channel, Glam Burger, which is also down in the description box always. She made that logo for me, and so absolutely love her and love this idea. So I'm going to be putting these in my books that I'm dropping off at little free libraries. So here they are, ready to roll. I am going to shrink this down next time because I don't want to cover, where people write or whatever. And then maybe try to make it so that there's more of a space here so that I can tape on the sides too. But that's okay for my first ones. And it's such a cute little template. And I didn't even say, it says, this book was shared with kindness by Danielle at Bookburger Reads. Please drop a comment on our YouTube channel to tell her where this book found you. I think that's so much fun. And hopefully I'll hear back from people. I just think that would be super, super fun. here we are in Tip City, Ohio, and this was actually outside of a Catholic church, this little free library, and they had quite a few things. These crack mail order brides. I've seen that in a couple different things. Does anybody know about those books? For some reason, the idea of that just cracks me up, but I probably just don't really realize what it is. So if you do, let me know down in the comments. But they definitely had quite a few different things in here, and then also had some like Catholic religious materials if you were interested in that. And but I was happy. I actually looked at that Be Still and Be Blessed like devotional book, but I didn't look too close because I have a lot of devotionals at home. I'm not Catholic, so I don't know if it was a Catholic one or not, but I decided to go ahead and put Olive Kitteridge in here that someone else could enjoy, and so that I could take a book out for myself. And so you will get to see what that is in a moment. And then I kind of like to show a little bit of the town that we were in. So this was kind of a little gazebo area. They had a memorial there. Just really nice, and I just think it's kind of cool to be able to see when I'm showing you where I go to the different little free libraries, what the area is like. So I saw on their signs that they have a mum festival there, and I always think that's fun too, to see different towns and the kind of festivals they have and things like that. So Tip City, Ohio, pretty cute. Okay, so at this very first one, I was so happy with the way that they put in on the app, because sometimes it is hard to find these little free libraries. I don't know what it is. The map isn't quite right, like doesn't quite, match up with where places are. So sometimes that can be really frustrating. This particular one, they even put that it was in like their north parking lot or whatever. And I thought that was really awesome because it made it extremely easy to find. But this was at a Catholic church. And so I went through that one, and I did end up leaving a book there. I left Olive Kitteridge, and I ended up picking up Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. Now this does have a little bit of maybe water damage to it, but nothing major. I looked through it to make sure it wasn't like moldy or something. It's just a little bit warped at the one end. But I have only read one B.A. Paris, and there's 3 different initials on here of people who have read them or read this. But I've only read one B.A. Paris book, and it's called Bring Me Back, and I really, really enjoyed it. And so I have heard great things about her writing and definitely wanted to read some more. So this one, oh, and actually Bring Me Back, they show it right here. This one says, everyone knows a couple like Jack and Grace. He has looks and wealth. She has charm and elegance. He's a dedicated attorney who has never lost a case. She is a flawless homemaker, a masterful gardener, and cook, and dotes on her disabled younger sister. Though they are still newlyweds, they seem to have it all. You might not want to like them, but you do. You're hopelessly charmed by the ease and comfort of their home, by the graciousness of the dinner parties they throw. You'd like to get to know Grace better. But it's difficult, because you realize Jack and Grace are inseparable. Some might call this true love. Others might wonder why Grace never answers the phone, or why she can never meet for coffee, even though she doesn't work. How she can cook such elaborate meals but remain so slim, or why she never seems to take anything with her when she leaves the house, not even a pen. Or why there are such high security metal shutters on all the downstairs windows. Some might wonder what's really going on once the dinner party is over and the front door has closed. Oh yes, this sounds exactly like something I love to read, so I am super happy to be able to add this to my TBR. Look at this cute little barn with the barn doors wide open. This is in Troy, Ohio, and we stopped at, it is outside of a insurance agency is where this is at, on this picnic table. And you don't see it here, but I'm so afraid of spiders, and I was really nervous about reaching in here. And at one point I'd put some of the books down, and I think it's when kind of you don't see what I was actually trying to show because I got distracted by, it might have been right here. There was something that I thought was a spider by my bag. It ended up just being a stink bug, and I'm totally fine with stink bugs, whatever. I don't want them on me, but they don't freak me out like spiders do. But yeah, definitely checking out. They had a ton of stuff in here, and something funny that I will mention after this. And yeah, hilarious. And then that building right over there is where, right behind that bush, where the picnic table was that had this little free library on it. Okay, this one that I am showing you right now and the next one are actually in the same town, and they were actually kind of across the street from each other, not very far. But this particular one was in an insurance agency like parking lot, like up by their building. And I was cracking up when I was looking at the footage when I got home, because I realized, so it was like shaped like a little barn, as you saw, that there was a whole other shelf up under there. It was very weird. I'm thinking maybe the top lifted off because it was very awkward to get to. So that was probably my mistake, and I probably missed something good because I didn't notice it, but that's okay. But I did, there was a ton of, like, you know, suspense kind of books in there and stuff, which I thought was really cool because obviously that's my genre of choice. I say obviously. If you're new here, you might not know that, but that is typically what I go for. And so I looked through those, but none of them really caught me, you know, made me real, like, excited to read them. And so I ended up leaving a book there that was In the Darkness, That's Where I'll Know You. That's Where You'll Know Me. I'm drawing a blank right now, but anyway. And then I picked up a book that I actually have looked at, I think maybe on Book Outlet before. And so this is In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle, I think is how you say her name. I love the little foiled stars and the foiled bridge here. This was obviously one someone bought from Target. It says, Dani Cohen lives her life by the numbers. She is nothing like her lifelong best friend, the wild, whimsical, believes in fate Bella. Dani's meticulous planning seems to have paid off after she nails the most important job interview of her career and accepts her boyfriend's marriage proposal in one fell swoop, falling asleep completely content. But when she awakens, she's suddenly in a different apartment with a different ring on her finger, and beside a very different man. Dani spends exactly 1 hour, 5 years in the future before she wakes again in her own home on the brink of midnight, and it is 1 hour she cannot shake. In 5 Years is an unforgettable love story, but it is not the one you're expecting. And so that sounds so good to me because I'm not typically a romance kind of person. And I feel like a lot of times they lean very corny, cheesy. And I'm all about love. But sometimes it's just not really, or most of the time, not really what I want to read. But when there is a different aspect to it like this, where if there's like magical realism or like this, like it's a dream that happens and it's making her, you know, like think about her relationship or whatever. That's the kind of stuff that I do enjoy reading, you know, romance-wise. And so like I said, I had looked at this before somewhere. I feel like it was Book Outlet, but I'm not really sure. But I remember reading this synopsis for this book before and being interested in it. So when I saw it in there, I was like, yep, nabbing that. So I must admit, when I first walked up to this and quickly looked, I was kind of like, bummer. I don't think this is really going to be one that I'm going to be excited about. Seemed like maybe had more kids books, which is awesome. I'm not saying that, but obviously for myself, wasn't really what I was looking for. And so I was just kind of looking through and like, you know, I mean, might as well check it out and show you guys what's in here. Not much on that shelf. And then I got down to the bottom shelf and it'll speak for itself. Check out what's in here. This was in front of a really cute house, and just the street right here was really cute and nice. And then I was just walking back down to where my husband was parked at an apartment complex down here. Okay, so this last little free library that I went to in Ohio was, like I said, just kind of across from where the one was that was at the insurance agency. And this one was out in front of kind of like a house. You had to park down the street. My husband just parked in this like apartment complex and I walked down. And it was a really cute neighborhood. It was just really nice where it was at. And you kind of can see that in the video there. But, so I could not believe the amount of good books that were in this. And I think when I first looked at the top shelf, maybe, was that how it worked? Where I was like, eh. And then I got to the bottom shelf and was like, jackpot. Like, there were so many. Well, I only had 2 books left in my bag. And while technically you could take another one if you wanted to, I didn't want to do that. And I'm like, I've got so many books anyway to read, because looking back, I was like, there was a book in there that I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't grab. And it was a Frida McFadden, and it was The Inmate, I'm pretty sure. But honestly, too, I was trying to think if I had that one at home, because I knew I had, I think maybe I only have one more. The Locked Door, that might be the only Frida McFadden I have right now that I haven't read. But so I was like, do I have that? Do I not? And I don't have enough books anyway, and there's 2 others that I see that I really want, so I'm just going to leave that there. So I left there that Harlan Coben book, I think it's called The Promise, but I had realized it was partway down a series after I bought it, and so I'm not going to do that. And then the other one I left was Funeral Food. The first one I picked up was The Other Mrs. by Mary Kubica, and I only have one of her other books, The Good Girl. And I have watched Francesca Reid's books. I don't know. I think Francesca Reid's books. Anyway, she loves this author. And so I've heard her say really good things. I couldn't remember if this was one of the ones that she really loved or not, but I didn't care. I was excited when I saw it. And so I went ahead and grabbed it. Okay, I'll read to you what this is about. You will notice I say like unaliving, unalived, blah, 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 instead of like the other words, because I don't know if those get flagged by YouTube. And even though I'm not at a point right now where I'm monetized, like none of my videos can be monetized because I'm too small, which if you were like not subscribed, if you've been coming back and watching my videos and aren't subscribed yet, will you please consider subscribing? That would help me so much. And if you're new and you enjoy what you see and maybe you want to check out some of my other videos and are like, okay, I can vibe with her, then please consider subscribing. But I'm hoping to become monetized at some point. And when that happens, I'm not sure if using words like that would flag and make those videos unavailable to be monetized. So that's why I say those things. So when I'm reading the synopsis of some of these books and I say that, if you're like, why are you doing that? That's why. I don't know if it actually is a thing or not, but in case it is, I'm trying to be careful. So it says, she tried to run, but she can't escape the other misses. Sadie and Will Faust have only just moved their family from bustling Chicago to small town Maine. Oh, I love Maine. When their neighbor Morgan Baines is found unalived in her home. The unaliving rocks their tiny coastal island, but no one is more shaken than Sadie. As the eyes of suspicion turn toward the new family in town, Sadie is drawn into the mystery of Morgan's death. But Sadie must be careful, for the more she discovers about Mrs. Baines, the more she begins to realize just how much she has to lose if the truth ever comes to light. Yep, I mean, totally something that makes me excited to read it. So hopefully it will be a good one. And now this one, I was so excited because I've heard so many people read this. It was a book of the month. And so I know a lot of people read it back like in the wintertime, and I'll wait until winter to read it. But it is A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. And this is my first hardcover book that I picked up. I mean, it has praise from Frida McFadden, Lisa Unger, Jennifer Hillier, Riley Sager, and Emily Henry. Those are some big names in the book world. And so that gives me, that makes me excited. A whirlwind romance. When Theodora Scott met Connor, wealthy, charming, and a member of the powerful Dalton family, she fell in love in an instant. 6 months later, he's brought her to Idlewood, his family's isolated winter retreat, to win over his skeptical relatives. Let me just tell you, an isolated winter retreat is like, oh, my dream. I would love, if I had money to do this, which I do not, I would have a cabin up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and just get snowed in there in the winters. Like my husband and I talk about this all the time. All I would need is a fireplace, plenty of firewood, a nice generator in case the power goes out, good supplies of coffee, and tons of books. And of course food. I mean, you kind of need food. But like that would be my ideal, like a winter retreat like that, to just go up there for the winters. I know most people want to go somewhere warm for the winter. Not this girl. I hate being hot. I love the winter. And so, like I said, I live in Michigan, but I'm in the lower part of Michigan. And man, would I live up there in the winters and just absolutely love it. But anyway, back to the book. Anybody else like me? Do you like the cold? Do you like the snow as opposed to like hot weather? Just let me know. I'd like to know. Okay, stay away from Connor Dalton. Theo has tried to ignore the threatening messages on her phone, but she can't ignore the footprints in the snow outside the cabin window or the strange sense of familiarity she has about this place. Then, in a disused cabin, Theo finds something impossible, a photo of herself as a child, a photo taken at Idlewood. I've been here before. Theo has almost no recollection of her earliest years, but now she begins to piece together the fragments of her memories and realizes she is in terrible danger. Someone here has a shocking secret that they will do anything to keep hidden, and discovering what happened at Idlewood may cost Theo everything. Heck to the yes. Like, I hope this is atmospheric like I'm picturing. Like, I hope I can, you know, see the scene, see the wintry, you know, isolated retreat. Because, yeah. And so, like I said, I will wait till winter to read this when we have snow here. But I saw inside here, there's a little stamp that says from the library of Aunt Tony. How cute. So thank you, whoever Aunt Tony is, for putting this in the little free library. But I look so forward to reading this. Like I said, it's one that I've seen a ton of people read, and I've heard good things about it. Not everybody super loved it, but a lot of people had really good things to say. And again, just because somebody else doesn't like something, you might absolutely love it. Or they might absolutely love something that you're like, really? It's what we all like. It's the backgrounds we come from, and, you know, things we're interested in. And so books are very, very subjective, and I love that. I love it. I love to hear people talk about it, or talk about different books and their feelings about it, and see how it matches up to mine or other people. Like, I just think that's super interesting. So yeah, looking forward to this one. As you can see, this one was pretty well packed. Like, the books are in there every which way, and so there was a lot to look at. I wish I had had an extra free hand, because I would have gone through and kind of pulled things out more and looked behind some other things, even looked at some of the kids' books more for my grandson and stuff like that. But there was another issue besides just not having an extra free hand as to why I didn't look further into this one, which I will be explaining to you momentarily. But yeah, so that's kind of why you don't see me dig deeper into this, even though there was probably quite a bit back there. And the very last one, I had stopped at this little free library kind of on a whim in July. And I just happened to see it as I was driving down the road, and I was like, I'm going to check this out. It was so packed, as you can see. And I did not get really into it, because then there was the spider on the side, and I don't do spiders. Okay, I do not do spiders. That's another thing about when you're places where it's really cold. You don't have many spiders. Like, my house, we get spiders in the basement, never in the main area of our house, which I love. And because I'm a total spaz, I'm not even kidding, total spaz. Like, my boys are like, what are you gonna do when we're all moved out? I'm gonna have to leave the house when I see a spider. I don't know. Anyway, like, while my husband's at work until he gets home. But then you don't know where it went, right? Anybody with me here? Okay. Anyway, so I was looking through this little free library that was packed with books. I didn't have any books with me that day because like I said, I was just driving by and saw it. But I do usually like to keep a bag of them in the car, so that was just an off day. And I think I didn't have any at the time that I was giving away, but it was so packed that I couldn't have put, I could have, because I took one out. So to say I couldn't put one in, that would be a lie. But I mean, it was packed, okay? You can see that. And so I abandoned my browsing once I saw that spider over there, because it was being a little too friendly. And so I ended up, though, grabbing a book from there, and I grabbed The Paris Mystery by Christy Manning. And I just thought this totally drew me in, the cover. It's just cute. There's something about it. And mystery in Paris. I mean, come on. And so it says, intrepid reporter Charlotte Charlie James arrives in Paris in 1938, eager to make a fresh start. But little does she know the trouble that awaits her. Charlie James is chasing her first big scoop as the Paris correspondent for London-based newspaper The Times, and she needs to prove to her boss that she can do this job as well, if not better, than her male counterparts. The best way to forge the necessary contacts quickly is to make well-connected British expats Lord and Lady Ashworth her business. Lady Eleanor knows everyone in Parisian high society, and at her sumptuously extravagant annual party, a circus ball, Charlie will meet them all. On the eve of the summer solstice, the circus ball is in full swing, with Parisian elites entranced by burlesque dancers, tightrope walkers, a jazz band, and a horrific unaliving. A wealthy but unscrupulous investor is dead, and the list of suspects is a veritable who's who of le haut monde. I don't actually know. Did that sound good? I don't even know what I'm talking about. As Charlie tries to determine the unaliver's identity, she finds herself drawn into the magical parties, the couture houses, and the bohemian wine bars of the City of Lights. Before long, secrets start to unravel, including some Charlie has a personal stake in keeping hidden. So I just thought it sounded really fun, like the atmosphere of it, the circus ball, and just all these Parisian things going on. I mean, tightrope walkers and burlesque dancers and, you know, delicacies that they're eating and these amazing, like, you know, estates and things like that. It just sounded really interesting to me. And then the mystery aspect, because duh, I love mystery stuff. So yeah, I thought this seemed like a super fun read, so hopefully it will be. So those are my latest Little Free Library trips and pickups. And so yes, I do like to I have this bag right here that I usually have filled with books, and I keep it in my car so that I can, if I see a Little Free Library, or like I said, if we're traveling and I know I'm going to try to hit some, I make sure that I've got books in there so that I can trade out, because I don't want to just go and take books from places and not have something to put back in. I mean, that's okay to do that sometimes, but I want to be able to swap out. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think. What is your favorite of those books that I picked up? I think I got some really fun stuff here. I've got obviously lots of like mystery, thriller, suspense kind of stuff, because like I said, that's what I typically love. But I did get myself a little romance kind of a book here. So are you proud of me? But I don't know which one I'm most excited about, to be honest with you, because they all just sound really good. And that's good to me. So yeah, I can't wait to hear, have you read any of these? What did you think of them? No spoilers. And, or is there one that you're like, you need to read that right now. Like, do not wait. It's so good. You're going to love it. I want to know that. Tell me if there's one that you see here. But thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.